What's up, everybody? I'm going to attempt to do this properly. Everything is a disaster over here. Sorry. I wanted to discuss this. Maybe I'm beating a dead horse here. And I know this has been discussed with numerous other people. Let me get my camera situated here. I know this has been in my lighting. I know this has been discussed with numerous other people, but I wanted to... This lighting's way too much. Whew. All right. I wanted to just shoot the shit with you guys, and I want to talk with you guys about a little bit about G.I. Joe and stuff. Matt, what's up, man? How's it going? I got my beer ready here. There we go. Thought we'd do just kind of like a little chill hangout talk. I haven't done a live video since I think about last week. It's been about a week. So I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys and have an open forum here, and we can just kind of discuss a few certain things that is going on, with I've been having kind of a discussion with a lot of people on a couple of Joe fan pages about what's going on and just debating stuff. And I know there's like a lot of the simple ideas of why G.I. Joe is taking this huge break, and this is not a new subject at all. So I'm not breaking ground here or anything like that, but I kind of want to just keep an open forum to talk about this, because I mean, a lot of you guys probably have a lot of great ideas as to what you would want to do. And I mean, you guys pretty much know what I would want to do. I would want between now and when the movie comes out, and God knows, even if the movie's going to come out in 2020, I mean, Retaliation had a delay, I'm just going to say what I have to say, and then I'm going to get to everybody's comments as soon as possible. I just want to get this opening remark out before I forget it, because my ADD is horrible. But Retaliation was delayed, and who's to say that this new movie won't be delayed or something happens, I know maybe Retaliation was probably a blip as far as that ever happening again, but who's to say that it won't? I mean, you never say never. But I feel like G.I. Joe needs to get back to its meat and potatoes, and they need to stop chasing after what Marvel's doing. I mean, we've already seen DC chasing after Marvel. Marvel is its own thing. Marvel is successful because it started its own thing. It opened up its own universe, and a shared universe with a lot of other characters that probably didn't think was going to be a part of that universe. We got Quicksilver and we got Scarlet Witch. But, and I don't want to go off on a tangent on them, but it is an example to use as far as why everyone's chasing this thing. G.I. Joe is going to be, and Hasbro and Paramount are going to be chasing this same thing that DC's been chasing for years. It's not going to work. In my opinion, in my biased opinion, I'll say, I don't think it's going to work for G.I. Joe, because I don't think G.I. Joe teamed with Mask and etc. building their own universe. No, I just don't think it's going to work. It hasn't worked for DC. That's been a floppy disaster. It didn't work for, what was it, that the Dark Universe with the Mummy. That got shafted right away. And I just don't see it working with G.I. Joe. Feel like G.I. Joe needs to be its own thing. It needs to find its niche and stick with it. And I'm not saying it needs to stay a niche. What I'm stating is that it needs to go back to its meat and potatoes, and it needs to go back to its animated cartoons, and it needs to do something like a Netflix series. It needs to garnish that. And like this way you have your animated cartoon and then you have your Netflix live action. I think that's the main thing to build momentum. I think the most important thing for GI Joe is to build momentum back, and it hasn't been building momentum. Now this all started today when wasn't arguing with people. I was just simply having a conversation. It was civil, you know. Um, but it all started from, people were there was a pitch for a 6-inch line, and this has been kind of a thing over the years that people have been talking about. Oh, when's Hasbro going to do a 6-inch line for GI Joe? To me, I don't think it's necessary that we get a 6-inch line. And I honestly, maybe looking back at it from a year ago, I would have thought that maybe they needed to do that, but I don't anymore. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it has the same budget that Marvel Legends and the same budget that Star Wars The Black Series does. Those have larger budgets because they have something that is successful. They have movie franchises that are successful, that make a lot of money. Um, and simply GI Joe is not going to be that. So if you put a 6-inch line out there, how well is it really going to sell? On top of that, if you're going to shove out a 6-inch line, what 6-inch line are you doing? Are we doing movie figures based off the new movie? Are we doing comic book 80s movie retro figures? Are we doing Pursuit of Cobra style figures, like a modern look? What are we doing here? It just didn't seem like this guy's pitch had all of the boxes checked. If you know what I mean. He had a lot of ideas that a collector would have, but thinking unbiasedly, you, just because that's what you say you want to have doesn't mean necessarily that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I don't want to sound defeatist here. I'm just trying to be a realist. It doesn't seem that to me that a 6-inch line is going to necessarily work for GI Joe. I think your paycheck is going to be made on a 3 3/4 inch line that's been going on for 36 years. And I know people like to do the comparison that, oh well, the 12-inch line died, and then the 3 3/4 inch. That's totally different. It's completely different from now. We've had a line since 1982 all the way to 2016 technically. Technically, it'll be through the FSS line, so I guess I'll include the next year or so, year and a half, because 8.0 I believe ends next year. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the 12 when you make that argument for, oh well, the 12-inch line died and blah blah blah. GI Joe went through a rougher time with the 12-inch line than they did with 3 3/4 inch, because the 12-inch line didn't nearly offer what the 3 3/4 inch line did, and it didn't make nearly as much money as the 3 3/4 inch line did throughout the years. I mean, you guys can agree to disagree, but from what I've seen over the years and collecting these and having a passion for these, I don't think it's feasible to just say nope, no more vehicles, boop, no more play sets, no more 3 3/4 inch, because that's what you're going to get if you get a 6-inch line. Sure, you might get better articulation, better detail, maybe, depending on the budget. There was people throwing around ideas of a Build-A-Figure. I will tell you right now, I don't even want Marvel Legends to have a Build-A-Figure anymore, because I feel like Build-A-Figure should just be deluxe figures, and that's totally different argument. But I don't think, like, what exactly are you going to build as far as the figure goes? Are you just going to build regular other figures? You can't build a vehicle, that would be too huge, and you would need multiple waves just to build a vehicle. You can't build a playset, because then you'd need even more waves than that. I just don't think the thought process was really sit down, let's make a plan here as far as what my ideas were. Now, this was a pitch to Hasbro. Hasbro's going to look at this and laugh, I think, but as I drink my crappy beer. But, we can't all be rich. I can't drink Stella all the time, or a craft beer, but I just thought this was something to bring up. And I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. This is just the way I feel about it. if GI Joe is rebooted, it's got to be 3 3/4 inch, and they have to give us something that's new. It can't be the same old shit, you know. But I do want to get to some comments here. Maybe someone's like, "Oh, you're an idiot," you know. Strawberry Fields, what's up? Yeah, I'm trying to do just kind of like an open forum talking discussion, whatever, you know. I want to hear everyone's opinion on this because this is a good topic to talk about and discuss. Oscar, what's up, buddy? Zorpox, what's going on? Marvel Studios also follows up the source material closely. It is not 100%. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, just because it worked for Marvel doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for anyone else. You know, they caught lightning in a bottle, and it was at the right time. You know, they started it right after Iron Man was successful, and it was very successful. You know, they started that with a plan. I mean, they're saying, people are saying, well, GI Joe's got a plan. They got a plan. They're going to open up this universe to the Mask universe and all these other universes. I'm like, but GI Joes don't belong. I don't. To me, GI Joe is its own thing. When you start mixing them, and I don't even like in the comics when they started mixing them with Transform. Like, GI Joes don't have no business with Transformers. I'm sorry, they have zero business. And I know there was Marines and Army and the stuff like that in the Transformers movies, but those movies were terrible. So why would you even make that comparison there? Sure, they made a lot of money, but it's still crap. I mean, if you pick up a golden turd and it's worth a lot of money, you're still holding a piece of shit in your hand, though, right? At the end of the day, you might have a piece of gold, but it's still shit at the end of the day. And I just don't want GI Joe to do what everyone else is doing. It needs to kind of, make its own, pave its own road. I think it would be more successful because I feel like a lot more people would feel like it's a more creative route to go instead of just, well, they're doing what Marvel's doing. Great. Bentley Nash, what's up, man? I'm sorry, you guys, if you're just coming in now, if you missed my opening rant, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of make a mission statement, I guess, about GI Joe. And like, a lot of the things were brought up today with the 6-inch line, and I was just kind of giving my opinions as to why I don't necessarily think a 6-inch line will work. And I gave good reasons, I thought, as to why it won't work. I just don't. And I look at things, do more WWE. I try to mix in my, what I'm doing with Marvel and GI Joe and my WWE stuff, and I got to start doing some more DC stuff too. I've been neglecting DC for so long, but I've done so many DC Universe Classics reviews. When I first started my channel, it was like mostly DC, that I kind of needed a break for a while, What was that? I missed that last one. Making a GI Joe movie, start with the OG-13 from there. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do, and I'm not saying do this exactly the way they did it, because the way the X-Men did it was all, that's a totally different discussion that I don't want to get into. The Fox's X-Men are a disaster to me. But the point I want to make here is that, and I'm missing everyone's stuff. Oh boy. Tim, what's up, man? Andy, what's up, buddy? How's it going? Let's go back. Yeah, but the thing about that, Matt, 6-inch line would be for collectors, and I could see if it was like if the line was strictly like let's say if it was a Walgreens exclusive line only, and you only got maybe 5 figures, and it was strictly only to Walgreens, um, maybe that would work. But you're also alienating people that have been collecting 3 3/4 inch / 4 inch for the last 36 years. And then what do you do with your 3 3/4 inch stuff? Are you going to focus on your 3 3/4 inch stuff and then make the 6 inch stuff for exclusives and see how that does? I don't know. I mean, I the 6 inch stuff, I don't know. It's a tough call. It just because it worked for, and at the time, think about this, for Star Wars, and I'm going to use Star Wars as a major example, even though Star Wars has probably double the budget that GI Joe ever will. Um, and that's mostly because Disney's backed it. Disney owns Star Wars, so it's got pretty much unlimited money, and they're always going to want a presence for Star Wars in stores, whether it's bad distribution or not. But yeah, I think it's a tough call with 6 inch. I personally, 3 3/4 inch is where you're at. You're gonna get more accessories. You're gonna get vehicles, and you're gonna get play sets. Now, the play sets probably won't be a friggin' Terradrome or a flag. We're never gonna get that ever again. I don't think we'll ever get something like that again. I don't even think we'll get maybe something similar like a mobile command center, or maybe another pit, maybe maybe like a headquarters for Cobra. I could see something a little bit more condensed than that, but you know, within reason, because we really don't get a whole lot of that stuff nowadays as far as play sets and vehicles on a consistent basis. Like we see it from Chat May, you know what I mean, and we see it from Leonard, and we see those, but we don't get it from Hasbro. That's why I have such an issue with HasLab. I'm not a big fan of that idea of making a big company making fans support it to make something. I don't. Mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. When you've given us all this stuff in the past, and now you're saying you need this support, no, you're not a small company. Sorry. Don't get me wrong. I like the 3 3/4 inch a lot, but I wouldn't mind a 6 inch Joe. But what are you going to get with a 6 inch Joe? That's my question, Zorpox? What are you going to get with them? You're going to get the bare bones. You're going to get the figure, maybe 1 or 2 accessories, and that's it. You probably won't even get a file card. I mean, you look at the Black Series, you look at Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends used to come with a comic and all this stuff when Toy Biz was around. They don't get any of that. They get a little paragraph about this big and multiple languages. If you think you're going to get a file card with that, Joe, you better think twice, buddy. I don't think that's going to happen. You're not going to get the aesthetics of what the 3 3/4 inch offered because of a less budget with 3 3/4 inch line. It costs less to make a smaller figure. Yeah, I agree, Tim. You learned to swap knee pads for me. I'm glad I could help. Yeah, exactly. That's why I agree, Zorpox, with the HasLab thing. Oh, Isaac, you're looking for the Hiya Toys one, APC? That's cool. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tim. You're gonna have less room in your where do you even start? Like where would you start with 6 inch Joes? Like where do they even go? What where's their purpose? It's kind of like when and I'm actually a component of wanting more Star Wars Black Series expanded universe figures, but at the end of the day, I'm like, where are they gonna go? We got Jaina Solo and we got Darth Revan, and that's about it. Where do they go? They're two totally different eras. One's over here, and one's at that wall, and one's in that wall as far as timeline goes. You know what I mean? Like they're miles away from each other. So like, where do they even go in my display? Oh, thanks, Bentley. I appreciate that, buddy. I'm glad you like the content. 3 3/4 inch line offers variety and features and playability. Yeah, absolutely it does. And there's no reason why you see like Marauders. They have an open universe. You know what I mean? How about you give Hasbro does that? Do a little bit more of an influx. Say, hey, why don't we do a create a GI Joe? Because Mattel did it with their create a WWE figures. Do a created GI Joe. Have a blank file card and have people fill it out for themselves. They can create their own stuff. There's an idea right there. It's perfectly marketable. And I'm sure a lot of Joe collectors would jump on that. Give them pieces, have them mix and match. You could do that. It's that simple. I mean, I'm not talking rocket science here. We're talking plastic guys, And we do it all the time. We're Joe collectors. We've been mixing and matching and kit bashing. We do the same things that the FSS Club does. We take all these different pieces and we put them together. If Marauders did it, why can't a much larger company like Hasbro do that? These are simple things. And I understand that there's the big wigs that are really kind of yanking at the chains of the guys at Hasbro that have passion for it. And they probably want to do more, and they won't let them. Nope, no movie. Nope, we don't have a blockbuster movie. Nope. Get back here. It's like a dog barking, saying, I got to go outside, I got to pee, and they're not letting them pee. Like, no, you just hold it, Exactly. Steel Brigade taken to the next level, Do vintage series GI Joe line with select vehicles. Most top 100 figures. Wait, hold on. What's that? This live chat is. Do a vintage series GI Joe line with select vehicles and top most wanted figures. Ooh, I could probably do that. I don't have that many vintage figures, to be honest with you. Long story short, when I was around the age of 16, all of my figures, and I've been collecting since I was around, I want to say 8 to 12, that range, where I started, I would always play with toys, but it was around the age of maybe 10 to 12, where I started kind of collecting and trying to take care of things a little bit more, while still having fun with them. But there was a flood. It happened. Everything was in my parents' basement. It got destroyed. It didn't actually get destroyed. It could have been salvaged, a lot of it. But what happened was my mother, things happened with the insurance company, and they wrote her a check for everything, and they took everything and trashed it. So I want to say 90% of my action figures growing up didn't make the cut. There was a select few that I had in my room that I have still. They're not in very good condition because I would play with my toys a lot. So I do have a lot of vintage wrestling figures, though. Not vintage in the LJN style, but bone crushing. Okay, ODC guys, what can they do again with the 3 3/4 inch line? What could they do again with the 3 3/4 inch line? Don't worry, Soundwave, I'm going to get to yours, and Tim, I'm going to get to yours. You feel like it's all been done? Oh no! I mean, let's think. I just gave one idea right there. Create your own GI Joe with a blank file card. Put pieces in for different GI Joes. Do a whole line of that, or you could do like a box set for different parts and pieces, and and you can do a whole line with that. You can do different box sets with that. I think that's one thing to do. Another thing to do is the vintage stuff. I don't think needs to be done for a very long time. As far as bringing back the old and relishing in the 82 or the 86, we don't need that for at least a while. I know eventually, like, people are going to want updated bodies and stuff like that, which I think is necessary, but we've had the whole 25th anniversary line. I honestly, I don't think I need anything else left from the 25th anniversary line. What I would do, though, as far as vintage figures, I would do kind of like what WWE does with their figures. And if you're not familiar, I would do flashbacks in each wave. I'd have one or two flashbacks that weren't given to us in regular retail in the 25th anniversary line, and I would take the ones that were FSS exclusives and I would release them in that and do a flashback figure. Maybe do one or two in each wave. This way, it gives you a chance to not have to spend $60 on an FSS figure or $50 or whatever on an FSS figure. It might piss off the FSS club members, but the majority isn't in the FSS club. That's a very niche, selective crew that are in that. I'm not in it, and I love G.I. Joe, but I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I collect other stuff too. So I'm not going to shoehorn myself into one thing. I mean, I get the guys that are into it and they want that, and that's their only thing. All the more power to you if that's your one and only. But I don't have one and only. Like, I love G.I. Joe. I love my Marvel Legends. I love my DC figures. I love my Star Wars Black Series stuff. I have other loves. I'm not a one-trick pony, But as far as what else I would do, I would definitely do the build a figure, not build a figure in a line, but the create your own G.I. Joe thing, that idea. Like I said, I would do a flashback in each wave, and then I would sprinkle in, some modern stuff. I would have to do some modern stuff, but the thing is, like, I have to have stories behind the figures. Especially if you're going to introduce new characters like they did with Tombstone. Shadow Tracker has still yet to see a comic book. We don't even have that character in a comic book yet. Like, that's ridiculous that you're going to inject new characters with no story behind them and no nothing. No origin, no story, nothing. I mean, that's something else I would do is go backtrack a little bit and sprinkle these guys into a storyline. A lot of what G.I. Joe's doing in comics isn't very good right now. I mean, thank God Aubrey Sitterson's gone. Sitterson, sorry, I said his name wrong. Sitterson is gone. Because that guy was just straight venom, and they need to get away from that. So, Vietnam War flashbacks. I mean, that would pretty much be the vintage figures. But what I was suggesting was release the ones that people didn't get a chance to get. Like, not a lot of people got a chance to get Cross Country. Not a lot of people got a chance to get Footloose. I mean, I have a whole I'm started a whole series doing those. I mean, I built my own Footloose because I can't afford Footloose for what he goes for. And it's not like they ever, they only reintroduced him once, and that's in a paint deco that I don't care for. I don't want it in the Slaughter's Marauders paint deco, Oh, I don't think we'll ever get a flag again. That's too big. The FSS Club pisses on fans like me who want the figures, but yeah, no, they are expensive. Yeah, I know Human Mechanism. I know, right? You should go right for the October card. You should. Maybe be happier. But the thing about Aubrey Sitterson is that he's a wrestling fan. Like, if anything, he should be applying for a job in WWE if that's what he wants to do. Like, you had a wrestling guy writing for GI Joe, which doesn't make any lick of sense. Like this is the same guy that said that the character Salvo originally, because he's got a bald head. Hey, I have a bald head. Is too right wing for his audience. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like because he got a bald head and he's jacked and he shoots missiles. I mean, it's like, were you taking his shirt literally, you idiot? Where it says the right of might, it doesn't mean he's saying literally, I'm right. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with this guy? He's a buffoon. Don't get me started on that guy. He's an absolute idiot. That guy. Absolute trash. Dumpster fire is that guy. Dumpster fire. And thank God he's gone. He's not writing for G.I. Joe anymore. Thank God. You can go write for WWE because that's another dumpster fire I don't want to get started on. My dad grew up with G.I. Joe, but he grew up with the 60s, so the 12-inch ones with the Kung Fu grip. Yep. Mm-hmm. I want to convince my dad to read the Joe comics because he grew up. You know what your dad would probably like a lot? Have him read the special missions runs from Marvel's run. Special missions were like very different from the A Real American Hero ones because while the A Real American Hero ones were still good and I like reading them, they were kind of cartoony. Where when you would read the special missions, it was more of a serious thing. I remember, what was it, special issue number 1? You're seeing like dead people all just lying around, just after a bunch of terrorists just murder an entire news crew. They're just like lying down with a sheet over them, and it's like you didn't necessarily see that a whole lot in A Real American Hero. So I would suggest special missions. Read those; those are really good. You kind of got a little bit of a yin and yang there with special missions as opposed to A Real American Hero. That's why I always enjoyed both for different reasons. I think I don't want to miss anyone. Soundwave, I said it would. You have love for other figures too, yeah, yeah. Like a lot of people like Transformers and different things. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. Yeah, it's like Tom Clancy for kids. Exactly, Soundwave. I agree. Um, but I'm going on about 32. Wait. It needs a TV show on Hulu or Netflix. Yeah, that's I think the best thing, the best idea for GI Joe right now is a Netflix series. And I think if they doubled down their chips and they didn't go after this big blockbuster movie, I think a Netflix series, a live action Netflix, a live action Netflix series would make the most sense for them right now to gain momentum, and then spark it off with an animated movie. If you want to do, I mean, if you wanted to try something like a Resolute 2, you don't necessarily have to do that. A lot of people died in that movie, but you could start something similar to Resolute. Not to say it has to be Resolute, but something similar to that. Where you got the idea of a more grizzled veteran G.I. Joe squad. And I mean, there's plenty of other characters you could go with too. You could bring Crake back out of obscurity. You know what I mean? Crake was a big deal in as far as a Cobra Commander goes. I felt like he was a more serious Cobra Commander. He got shit done. Mr. No Nonsense. That's why I made a custom of him. Special Missions was also featured. Great art. Oh, I agree. The artwork was fantastic. Yeah, I agree. I can't see a big blockbuster GI Joe movie working. I don't know. Hindsight is going to be 2020, but I can't see it. I can't see it happening. as far as not happening, but I can't see it working or being successful is what I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying what I want to say. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying too much to be a realist, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because I hope it's good. At the end of the day, I want it to be successful and I want it to be good and I want it to make a lot of money. So therefore, we have more GI Joe product, and then we have something good to hang our hats on at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, I'm in it just like all of you are. I'm in it for it being successful, and I don't want it to fail. But I just thought this was something to do. What are my thoughts on GI Joe Extreme? No, thank you. Do is make a campy. What they should do is make a campy live action GI Joe show on TV and Netflix, like early Power Rangers. Oh, I don't know how well that would do though. I feel like you kind of have to go. How could I feel like you kind of have to go like Captain America: Winter Soldier with a live action Joe show. I feel like if you make it campy, people are gonna be like, "What the hell? What's going on here?" Unless you're trying to make go for a comedy. Yeah, I can't see campy working in 2020 or whatever they're if they did it. I mean, I'm not making fun of anyone. I mean, it's all what you guys think. I mean, I'm just giving you my personal opinion. That's all. It definitely would have worked in the well. See, the thing is, it didn't work in the '90s because the Deke series got canceled quick. Because that shit, that ooh man, that was as a kid, it was hard to watch that. I was like, what is this? What? Why is everyone so bright? My eyes are burning. My eyeballs are burning. Yeah, you could do the code names passed down, Oscar, to the MG villain. What's up, man? You could do the code names passed down, like if you wanted a new Duke. Here's the new Duke. Um, Personally, and I don't have a problem with them doing that. Personally, what I prefer is new code names. I feel like Duke is something special, and when he dies, or how many times you know. Anyway, um, Duke kicks the bucket. That's Duke. Like that's it. That name should have. Not to say that it won't have importance if it's passed down, but I feel like it's like you're kind of taking away from the old Duke by doing that. Like, oh, I'm the new Duke. I don't know. I feel like it loses gravitas when it does that. I know in retrospect it might mean more, but I feel like there should be one Duke and then new character inserted. Like I'm pretty sure that like remember when in what was it when Repeater came around? Like I'm pretty sure they had big plans for Repeater, even though he's a support gunner. I feel like he had a lot of experience as far as a character, 20 years into the Corps, and he wasn't really used. But as far as marketing wise, he was pretty well out there. He was on a lot of other things when he only had a few appearances here and there in the comics. But and I'm talking with my hands too much. I got to put my hand down. I'm not even Italian. I was raised by Italians, so. Um, I kind of stopped in the middle of that. We got a lot of figures for from the Deke series, Deke season. Yeah, we did. We still getting them in the FSS one. G2 shows chaos. Yeah, yeah, I know Soundwave. Absolutely, I agree, Matt, with the live action comment. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you could dumb the roster down. You could even do this. Here's a good idea, or what I think is a good idea. You let me know if it's a good idea. Um, you could do each season different groups, so you don't have the same old, same old. Now I know a lot of people might be like, "Well, you kind of lose the momentum of the other characters you established." But I mean, think about this though. You would have like and you would separate them into categories too. You could do this. It's just an idea. Like I said, if you guys don't like it, it's okay because it's just my idea. You could have a Black Ops team. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. I gotta shut that off. Chewbacca's yelling at me. Chewbacca, go to sleep, Chewbacca. Sorry. Okay, Chewbacca's napping. Um, but you could what you could do is maybe you spend 1 or 2 seasons on one group, and then you move to the next one. Like you have a blue team, a gold team, Black Ops team, stuff like that. So you're not just stuck with a core set group of characters, and you could have the influx of the other characters going throughout other teams. You could have them used in the other seasons and stuff like that. But I feel like you know to settle only on one team, it would be tough unless you're only going to do the OG 13. Unless you only do that, that way, if you did the OG 13 on a Netflix series, but in a modern stylized look, that could work. This way, you don't have to necessarily have every single team member. Like when we watched G.I. Joe, the cartoon series, we didn't have every single one of the G.I. Joes on there. You had a core group of people in this one story. You did it, boom, done. And you don't have to have necessarily origins for all of them because at this point, we know all the origins. I would love a live action special missions. That would be fantastic. I think that would work probably the best because then you have a different story every time with different characters. Um, I think maybe the first series, what you want to do is you want to establish a set group. Like I said, this is another part of an idea that you could do a separate one from what I just pitched. You could just set up the first season, and then you just do separate missions throughout. Are there any characters in G.I. Joe you have in common and relate to? Me, those characters, Scarlet and Cobra Commander. Oh, that's a yin and yang right there. I find my personality to be similar to Scarlet, and I do martial arts. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hmm. Who do I have in common with? Hmm. Oh boy, I am just a collection of rarities as far as personality goes. I want to say I'm loyal. I'm definitely loyal. I try to be as genuine as possible. That's what I've been told from a lot of people that I come off very genuine. I'd like to think that I am a very genuine and happy person. I think like I said, some of my favorites I gravitate towards because sometimes I feel like Beachhead, where I have to be in charge and let flex my muscles a little bit. Not in a bad way. I'm not like beating people up or anything. I mean, personality wise. Sometimes I feel like, well, I'd say a mixture of Beachhead and Sergeant Slaughter. Dusty. Um, who else? Low light. Trying to think. On the bad side, man, I would like to be Destro, but I'm definitely not Destro. I'm not rich, you know. Um, on the bad side, not Cobra Commander. Hmm, who would it be? This is tough. Definitely not Serpentor. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. The Cobra stuff is tough because you got to think of. I'm still thinking though. I gotta find somebody. Who would I be most like? Hmm. Hmm. That's a tough one. I have to think about that one. I never really thought about because I've always gravitated more towards the Joe side of things. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Um, but sometimes in the house when machinery doesn't work, I like to get computers. I get mad. The Cobra Commander voice. Oh yeah, and argue with your parents. I mean, it happens. We all get a little bit of Cobra in us, you know. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna have to go look. I don't. I'm trying to think of personality wise. That's tough because I'm not as devious as some of the, some of the Cobra villains are. They're pretty devious. I'm not as devious. I like to be. I like to help people. I'm a former EMT, so I don't like. I would say probably I'm not Lifeline. I'd say more Doc than Lifeline. I'm not a pacifist. As you can imagine, my parents really confused, especially when. That's funny sounding. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of do this. I'm gonna have to think about that GI Joe or Cobra, like who I would be most like, because there's so many like troopers, as far as who I would think, maybe Firefly, you know, maybe Firefly. But I might stop it here, unless you guys have anything more to say, or questions to ask, or if you have any ideas as to what you would like to see. Like I said, open forum. You're gonna do your Cobra Commander voice. You want to see how the other kids will react? Let me know how that works out. The Cobra Commander voice. Um, when am I going to show us my toy room? Well, as soon as I get it situated, there are certain things that I want to do before I get a video done. Um, right now, it's I'm in my attic right now. This is my other toy room. The downstairs one is okay. There's also a lot of things I want to reshuffle and fix up. I want to put new lighting up here. The lighting is kind of. I also want to get better lighting for my review station because I want good quality for you guys. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not right now. I'm not giving you the quality that I could or that I want to give you as far as lighting, production, stuff like that. Once my computer gets fixed, that'll all kind of make me feel better about myself as far as my review quality right now, because my review quality I feel like is plummeted. As far as what I want to give you guys, I want to be able to edit my videos and give you more production value. I mean, it's not that I haven't put money into it. It's just the fact that unexpected stuff happened, and that's life. It happens with my computer stuff. I had to end up sending it out after getting a new motherboard, and then so I want to get back to giving you better product before I can give you a toy room tour and do all that. And that'll probably be a multi-part thing. I don't want to just do it all in one video. That's too much. It's too much. I'd probably separate everything and showcase things properly as far as doing a toy room tour. I also want, like I said, I want the lighting to be good up here so you can see everything, and downstairs. So I want to get some track lighting and some brighter, more quality bulbs up here, because these are just basic. It's basic stuff up here, you know. But there's a lot of things I want to do before I do that, because I want things to look professional and look good. You know what I mean? While it looks like I'm having fun. Like there's a lot of vehicles I want to hang from the ceiling, and I can't do that right now because I have other projects in the way, you know. And the other thing is that I actually have, my house is set up like a 4-bedroom house, really. And I want to take the 2 bedrooms that are next to each other, maybe possibly knock that wall down and make one big room, you know, within reason. You know, it's not going to be only toys. Like there's going to be a computer in there, there's going to be an entertainment system, there's going to be other stuff that I have plans, and I'm just not at that point yet. And I don't really discuss this stuff with you guys normally, but there's a lot of stuff that's got to come in, and I want you guys to have the best quality videos because I want to make things better and not have the same old, you know, oh, here's my shaky camera collection video. I mean, if you go see, I mean, I've been on YouTube for over 5 years. If you go see some of my earlier videos, you're like, oh, good. I mean, I've gone back and I try not to watch any of my reviews, but I've gone back and I've watched some of my earlier reviews, and I'm like, good Lord, this is terrible. So I just want things to look a little bit more professionally. Like I want to get a microphone. I want to be able to give you good quality content. And I just, you know, I feel like I'm not giving it right now. But yeah, so that's the deal with the room tour situation. It's probably going to be a little while longer. I don't necessarily have a deadline for that, but like I said, I want things to look good. I don't want them to look. It's just not the right time yet. But I'm not saying it won't happen because it probably will. I mean, there's different ways I could do it. I could always do it in tons of different segments. I have a lot of stuff. I'm not bragging. That's the last thing I want to come off as. I'm not bragging. It's just that it's kind of overwhelming when you have all this stuff, and then you don't necessarily have a plan for it. That's all. All right, end rant of the collection stuff. You would really like a 6-inch Joe line? Hey, all the more power to you. I mean, if they end up doing it, then you'll be one of the ones that are really happy. I'm not going to say that I won't give it a chance and support the line, because the more Joe product, the better. But I personally would rather have these guys. I'd rather have 3 3/4 inch. I want my vehicles. I want new vehicles. I want give me a new chopper. Give me an updated version of a Tomahawk. Give me a more modernized look for a Tomahawk. Give me, they could do something like a new headquarters, like I said earlier, or like a new like mobile command center, or like a pit. They could go that route. I feel like, I mean, they produced a pit not that long ago, 2009, but. I agree. I would love an updated Mobat. I mean, make it so it can fit more than one figure. You know, just kind of hanging out in the open. You know, I would like that too. Yeah, updated Mobat, updated. Well, the Vamps can stay. I like the Pursuit of Cobra Vamp. It looks great. But I mean, even if they just went the updated route, like give us an updated Killer Whale, I'm sure a ton of people would buy the hell out of that. Also, I'd like to see more like boats for the Joe side. I mean, Cobra's got all of of the aquatic style vehicles, where the Joes really only have what, a couple, really small ones. Like they have the devilfish and the killer whale, and really, what else after that is that's major, you know? So I'd like to see more of that too. I mean, there's a lot they could do. There's so much. I mean, don't feel like we're capped and we've got so much. And what else could they do? They could do a lot more. I mean, think about all of the imagination that went into the original stuff, and then think about how much more imagination could be brought into some new designs. I mean, it's not like they don't have ideas. They have people that make money creating ideas. You know, this is their job. They do this on a daily basis. And when the pressure's on, the better quality things that come out. It's just the way things are. If someone's got pressure to give out a new design, they'll trust me, they'll make a new design. There's plenty of different things that they could go. I think no find is that Cobra vehicles besides the bug and the hammerhead and the history. They had Cobra's got some pretty decent sized stuff. They had the Condor, they had the Night Raven, they had the what you call it, the Moray Hydrofoil. They do have a bunch of small stuff, but so do the Joes, you know. Right, right, Oreo? Oreo agrees. They had some decent sized stuff too. What else did they have? I'm just looking at my stuff right now. So I have the bug, I have the hydrofoil, I have the hammerhead, I have the. Yeah, there's a lot of small stuff, but there's some big stuff too. Even the Rise of Cobra Night Raven is pretty decent sized. I mean, it's smaller than the original, but. Oh, wait, I missed that one. Oops. Oh, this thing just, I don't know why the chat does not stay up when I wanted to. Ooh. Yeah, I agree, Tim. I still think Pursuit of Cobra was the best line as far as overall form and function goes. As far as form and function goes, yeah. I agree. All right. What else do we have here? The Joes have the Mean Dog, the Rolling Thunder, the APC, the Havoc. Cobra doesn't have land vehicles that rival them. I mean, it's not always about size, right? Not speaking from that aspect. It's not always about size with vehicles. It's about functionality. You know, I mean, also they had the Mamba. The Mamba's pretty big. That's a big vehicle. You know, there's a lot of Cobra stuff that's got. There's a lot of. But you're right. I feel you about the land stuff. It's kind of like the yin to the GI Joe's yang as far as like sea based vehicles. Like the Joes only have like a couple, where Cobra's got like dozens, almost like a dozen of different vehicles for sea based, you know. But I'd like to see that both of them, Joe's and Cobra, have kind of that equaled out. Excuse me, as I'm struggling to talk here. I'd also like to see. I know we got, what was it? We got the Terradrome and we got Cobra Island, or Cobra Mountain, excuse me, which is something I do want to pick up. That is on my list as far as that goes, because I want to kind of put Cobra Mountain in its same display as the Terradrome, because the Terradrome was always my grail. It was like everyone's got their grail. Some it's the Defiant, some it's the flag, which I told myself last year, I was like, I'm gonna make my own flag. No, I'm just gonna buy a flag and I'm gonna do what I think it makes the most sense is what Joburg did, and it's what I don't know if you guys watch Michael Mercy. He's got a really good channel too. Check him out. Um, if you haven't already, I know he's got a larger channel, but he did the same thing as Joburg did, and they kind of they built like a double decker sized. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands like it's that size, but they did like kind of like a double decker sized flag. I think that's what I might do. Um, I think within the next year or so, I'm going to have the funds to actually invest in a flag. And I think building a flag was actually going to cost me not the same as a flag goes for, but really I just want a display piece. I want it's not that I want the flag. It's that I want a display piece to put a lot of the stuff that I've had to put away, which is a lot of my planes. I don't have a space for them. I really don't. And I know I could hang them off the ceiling, but then I'm going to worry that they're going to fall off the ceiling. Like there's some that I don't care about. Like I'm going to put all of my core stuff because those are built durably. You know what I mean? Durably, I don't know if that's a word. But anyway, they're built durable. So I wouldn't mind hanging all of those up because I have a whole bunch of those, True Heroes and stuff like that. And then I want to display all of my Thunder Wing. I do have a Sky Striker. The what's it called? Brains fried. But all of my jets I want to be able to display on there. So, and I don't have that, and I want to build something like a centerpiece for my Joe collection, which is what I think I'm going to turn the attic into. Is going to be probably GI Joe only, and then move everything downstairs. So, I'm gone over an hour. Oh my god, this is insane. You really want more play sets? So do I. But most are expensive besides the small ones, of course. I want 2020 toys to feature at least one or two big play sets. I would take one play set and be happy. I think it's going to cost a ton of money, though. That's the problem, is that everything is just exponentially more expensive now. To me, I don't know. It's just the way it is. The way things are is everything is way more expensive than it used to be. You know. I agree. The flag is pretty cool. It's essentially a table, though. I mean, you're buying a table. You know. I mean, you could technically. I was going to make my own flag, and what I was going to use was I was going to use. I was going to actually build it into a table is what I was going to do. I wasn't going to like buy a table and then build it on top of the table. I was going to kind of make it in like table form. And what I was going to do is I was going to put it up. Ooh, I'm knocking everything over. I was going to put it up against this wall over here and build it with my father was actually going to help me out with it because he's really good that way. But he was also going to show me certain things of how to do that because I'm no carpenter. I can't. I have a specific set of skills, and that is not one of them. But we were going to do that, and I was going to use a lot of like grip tape and stuff like that for the landing platform. What I was going to do is I was going to get just the antenna mast, all that other stuff from the original flag, that whole, I guess I want to say quarters piece, and use that as that, and then build the table around it and make it larger than the actual flag. Because I think the flag is 7 feet long, something like that. We were going to make it, I think, 8 or 9 feet and have it go from that wall to this wall, which is actually longer than that. But make it just so massive and huge. And then what I was going to do was take little pieces of other things like extra pieces that I have from the 90s Joe headquarters and add it onto that. And then I wanted to get all the little vehicles, like multiple vehicles from the flag, like the all the vehicles that were basically on the flag that came with the flag. I was going to get multiples of those and have that on there. Then I wanted to do different levels to it, so you could store kind of like what Joburg did, but multiple levels. I wanted it to be like this big epic thing, but I think that's going to just take way too much time, like entirely too much time to do, and that's like a long term project. Because my dad and I actually used to build train sets together, like HO gauge train sets, and do stuff like that. Like we had this huge, awesome HO gauge train set that we built together when I was a young lad, a wee little lad, a wee little one. But I don't know. I'm not to say that idea is dead, but sorry, I don't mean to ignore you guys here. I'm sorry. It seems the flag goes up in value every year. Yeah, I think it depends though, because this is the best thing about being a collector that I think. Time is on your side. Don't let people, or not people, don't let the fear of the market ward you away or force you to buy something right away. Granted, it'll probably go up in price, but there's always someone willing to sell. There's always someone willing to sell, and there's always at least a few people willing to sell below market value. There is. Sometimes things happen to people and they need it gone, or they have two of them, or it happened with Strident. Strident got a Defiant for much cheaper. The guy had like 4 Defiants, and he got one. Like a lot cheaper than what they go for, like $800-900 what Defiant goes for. I want to say I've seen, and I almost bought a flag last year. I almost bought one last summer, and I found one for like $550, and it was fully complete. The only thing that was missing on it was the 2 clips that clip onto the I want to say the end of the flag or the front of the flag where the numbers are. There's 2 clips missing, and I found them on eBay, no problem. But you'll find deals like that. I mean, you just got to be patient, work the market, work eBay, work those places. But be patient. Always patience. Always patience with collecting. You know, don't ever rush into something, because it's not. At the end of the day, you're gonna feel like you got took, and you don't want to feel like that. Even if you're a youngster, you know what I mean? Even if you're like, oh man, I'm never gonna get a flag. Don't ever say that, because you don't know what might happen in life. You might find a flag falls into your lap, or whatever it is, whether it's a Defiant or whatever, or whatever you're collecting, whether you want a mobile command center or whatever. Yeah, Mercy's flag is awesome, and Joburg, that was based off of Joburg's idea, so I gotta hand it to Joburg on that one. But his Mercy's collection is it's dope. He seems like a really nice guy too. I like his views on things. Evil Bay, yeah, Evil Bay. You gotta be patient, but I have seen him go for around 500-600 bucks. So I mean, I've also seen them incomplete go for like $200. So it just depends. Um, and I want to give credit to Michael Mercy here. He said, when he bought his flag, there's a whole lot of stuff missing. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you buy something incomplete and you make it your mission to get all of the pieces, you don't have to buy it fully complete. Buy a project. It gives you something to do. It keeps you out of trouble, it makes collecting all that more fun when you're like, okay, I got this and it's not complete, so I got to search for this, and do it over a long period of time. It makes you feel like you accomplished something at the end of the day when it's all done. When you're like, oh man, I have a look at my flag. It's exactly the way I want it to be. There's no yellow on it. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong with it, that as far as what you would deem wrong with something. Like there's the majority of my Joe collection, it's few and far between that I got anything complete. I'm going to tell you that right now, very few and far between. I want to say the mobile command center I got complete, that was blind luck, absolute blind luck. But things like that happen. You know what I mean? I got my mobile command center for, what was it, $75 at a estate sale. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Human mechanism. Yeah. I A lot of my stuff was incomplete. My headquarters was incomplete, and I got all of that done. My original GI Joe headquarters. The other headquarters I didn't get complete either, and I got that from Big Boy Collectibles. Oh no, wait, that was complete. I'm sorry, Big Boy Collectibles. I got that from. My Terradrome wasn't complete. There was damaged pieces on that when I got it. Like there was guns. The guns were missing. There was the hoses for the fuel, and the fuel hoses were missing from that. The hoses and the I don't know, what do you call that? The pump. The pump. That was missing. I had all the doors. Oh, there was the Cobra symbols on the side, or on the top, the blue Cobra symbols. There was two of them that were cracked, so I had to get those replaced. Everything else was fine as far as that, but everything is a project. You know what I mean? Like, we're buying stuff that's over 30 years old. You know, for the most part, the majority of it. What else? My killer whale, still incomplete. I bought these like makeshift, and I'll show you guys really quick. Hopefully these don't fall apart. But my whale is still incomplete, and it's not in the best shape. I mean, you can see the fins are. So look at that, one of the fins. They're jacked. And these fins are actually, they're not original. As you can see, the difference from the shine right here on this piece right here, and then this piece is kind of like a flat. These were actually, I got these off of eBay, and they didn't work out too well. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't believe that someone hasn't. See, as you can see, I used one of them, and as soon as I clipped that on, this popped off. So I mean, it's still incomplete. It's not done. The front piece I had to tape because this doesn't clip because the plastic's so old. So that's another piece that I have to find eventually. Everything is a project with GI Joe. That's what I tell myself. But there we go. Put that down there. Okay. I would say the majority of like the Rise of Cobra stuff, Pursuit of Cobra stuff, that's stuff that I would like to get complete because it's still new. What else was a big deal to put together? My bug's not complete. I still have missing missiles. There's other things on my bug that's missing. It's not fully complete. I don't know. Yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm beating it to death at that point. TJ347, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Well, yeah, if your goal is a flag, I'd say get one that's incomplete. Don't spend a lot of money, within reason, and build it up. I think it's the most feasible thing to do. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm not going to buy a complete. I don't have $1,200 to spend on a complete flag with the box and all that stuff. That's a lot of money. So if you invest time in grinding away on eBay, you'll find what you want. Exactly, Matt. That's what I'm saying. Yep. I agree. Human mechanism. Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. I think it's one of the fun that's funnest. The more enjoyable parts of collecting is doing it your own way, you know. Just bought a repro parts for your whale on eBay. Guy named Hot Dog. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Does he make repro fins for the back? Because I need what is it? The two fins. I don't need the fins that go up and down. I need the fins that go left and right. Obviously, those are the most sought after. But I know there's actually a guy. I think it was on a Joe page, but he made Cobra style fins, and I'm like, oh, did you make the Joe style ones? And he's like, no, I didn't. I only got the blue Cobra ones. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, Oh, that's what you bought? Oh, okay. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out. Thanks for the heads up on that. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. I'm definitely gonna look into that. Yeah, just slow, like I said, Soundwave. Slowly take your time with it, you know? That's the part of the fun I think of collecting vintage GI Joes. You got to just take your time. You know, the other half of that battle is the figures, and why I have so much fun with the figures because I love giving my own versions of Joes, and that's why I like doing this kind of customizing kit bashing series, is because I like to do, give my own take on each character too. And some of them, like a lot of the 25th anniversary ones that are very limited with arms and wrists and hands that don't grip the way you want them to. It's nice to be able to give those characters a much needed update as well. So that's another thing that Marauders does help with, and we're going to see more and more of that down the line with Eagle Force, with the World War II stuff coming from Marauders. We're going to get more and more variety as far as that goes. Even with Marauders Kickstarter, that's I think their stuff is going to drop in November for whoever joined that Kickstarter. But I'm sure it'll be in their store as well down the line. That's really the only reason I didn't join the World War II one, is because I figured, they're probably going to offer these figures in their store, hopefully. But all right, man, I am going on over an hour, and I don't even. What time is it? Oh my God, it's almost midnight. I don't want to keep you guys too late. I'm not sure what your schedules are like, but Star Wars 84. Oh wait, hold on. I got to read the rest of that. Oop. Yeah, I might cut it here. We're well over an hour. Well over an hour. I don't want to keep you guys that long. Getting ready to sell your collection in October. Always keep space in mind. Yep, exactly. Yep, I agree. Hey man, TJ, good luck with the sale, man. If you can keep the rare ones, keep the rare ones if you can, man. You know. But I wish you the best with the sale. Yeah, Soundwave, you have a good night. I'm gonna give everybody a shout out right now, and I'm gonna head out myself. But and I'll get to your last comments before I say goodbye. Zorpak, Soundwave, thanks for stopping by as always. Tim, thanks for stopping by. Bentley Nash, thanks for stopping by. Um, Human Mechanism, thanks for stopping by, buddy. Go check out the Human Mechanism. He's got a fantastic channel. Awesome dude. Great content. Matt Edwards, thanks for stopping by. Oscar, thank you, buddy, for stopping by. As always, you're the man. MG Villain, awesome. Another awesome channel. Go check him out. He does a lot of Star Wars content, and he does a lot of G.I. Joe content as well. Great guy, awesome channel. I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to miss anybody. It'll only let me scroll so far too. That's the other pain in my rear end. TJ347, another really awesome guy. Yeah, man, it's a shame that you got to sell that, but I feel you. I know I had to sell a lot of stuff at one point. I don't know if I said Matt Edwards, but thank you again if I did. I think that's it. Yep. All right, you guys have a great night. It was nice discussing this, and I kind of gave an entire opening monologue as to what I wanted to discuss this whole time. Oh, you're in Mountain Time. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool, man. All right, but yeah, it is getting around the 12 o'clock hour here on the East Coast. So I don't know. Maybe down the line I'll be more West Coast. I don't know. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. But let me know how I can improve my content. Hey, Indy, that's another guy. I can't talk. Another great dude, awesome content. Go check out his channel. He does great reviews and showcases as well. But yeah, if you didn't like my content, give it a thumbs down and let me know how I can improve it. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for just contributing to this open forum and having this discussion with me and giving me your views. I respect everyone's opinion, and I want to hear more of that. The more you guys are involved, the better off our community is going to be. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to do. And yeah, you guys have been great. This has been a lot of fun. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the bell for notifications. All that rigmarole, you know. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Have a great night.